On this channel, I made a few videos about perennials that I highly recommend for your garden. However, I thought I would share a few perennials that you might be seeing around garden centers right now in springtime that I actually recommend you do not buy. Now, of course, what you buy for your garden is completely up to you. You might love some of the plants that I list here. But for me personally, having tried all of these in my garden at one point, they really haven't worked for me, and I want to share why I advise against buying them. First of all, we have French, also known as Spanish lavender, and it's an incredibly pretty plant, as you can see here. This sub-shrubby perennial will be at the very start of every garden center you see at this time of the year. They absolutely seem to love this one. It's really common, and I've bought it myself many times in the past. So why would I recommend against buying it? Well, this particular variety, at least here in the UK, which is kind of what I'm basing my advice off of, is just not hardy at all, and it is incredibly easy for this thing to go very straggly and just completely die off after one winter. It is nothing like its cousin, the hardier English lavender, or I guess it's called English lavender. I don't know if it's actually native to the UK or not, but over here we call it English lavender anyways. This version, the French Spanish lavender, it is a lot weaker, at least here in England and the United Kingdom. I've really never understood why garden centers advertise this one so much compared to the English lavender. I think it's maybe because this one tends to look prettier sooner. That's my best guess as to why they would do that. It's got a lot of pretty flowers on it, but it'll never be as strong as the English lavender. If you want those beautiful hedgerows of lavenders with the amazing scents that'll last for years and years to come, if you look after them properly, then you want the English lavender, not this variety. Don't get me wrong, it is very pretty, but I personally never ever had success with it, and I don't really see why it would be worth overwintering in a greenhouse or such, compared to just having some of the English lavender out in your garden. Also, from experience, wildlife, bees and butterflies much prefer English lavender than this version, at least from what I've seen in my garden. Next, we have Margarite, and this is another that you will see right at the front of basically every garden center at this time of the year. It is incredibly pretty and very prolific. If you just want a sort of annual flower, then this could be great, but don't be fooled into thinking that this is going to last for years and years to come. Now, you could overwinter it in a greenhouse like I mentioned, but there are so many other versions of daisies out there, things that look similar to this, that I just personally don't think it's worth it. Again, I've never found that wildlife really loves this one compared to anything else in the garden, so that sort of benefit is out of the window. And after one winter, again, this is going to die off a lot and look very straggly, dead in many places. It's a tricky one. It is so nice, but they can also be decently expensive, especially if you get the tree version. There are some other really nice colors too, but again, I just don't think it's worth it. I think you should go for something like a lacanthamun. There's a really nice. Those basically look the exact same. They're like daisies, but they will be much hardier, so I recommend getting your hands on those instead personally. Next, we have Pelargoniums, also known as Geraniums. Now, this will probably be the most controversial one on the list because I know so many people absolutely love these, and if you treat them as just an annual flower that comes and goes each year, I think they can be great. They're really great for hanging baskets and such, but the problem is a lot of people get these confused with the much hardier geraniums, aka the varieties like Dreamland and Geranium Roseanne, which are incredibly prolific and hardy perennials. Pelargoniums are not that. They are not hardy at all. The colors, in my opinion, are often a lot more garish, like these really bright reds and such, and I just don't think they hold a candle whatsoever to the hardy geraniums like Roseanne. These guys don't even have that much of a spread. Like I said, they are pretty good for baskets and such. I don't know. I've seen a lot of people try really hard to overwinter these, and again, I just don't really feel like there's much point. I think they're really great to have as annual flowers, but if you're looking for something to actually fill up your garden that'll look nice for years and years to come, then these Pelargonium geraniums are just not that in my opinion. Now again, this next one is great if you're just looking for something for your containers and such, if you're looking for an annual which won't last very long but will look really pretty. This is Verbena, and you might have heard that name before in relation to perennials. That's because there is a hardier variety of this known as Verbena bonariensis, and this is an incredibly tall, beautiful perennial that I can't imagine my garden without. In fact, I think I recommended it in my perennial video. But you do not want to mistake these Verbena with that, because these Verbena that you'll see in the really little containers that have very, very bright and vibrant colors are not hardy at all. Once again, these guys will not really overwinter. They will not do very much from the first year onwards. They will just pretty much die off over winter unless you try and put them in a greenhouse or somewhere safe. Whereas Verbena bonariensis is pretty darn hardy. It's not the most hardy perennial out there, but I've had it come back every year. It self-seeds as well, so if it does die off, you'll probably get lots of other ones come up anyways. It's just really, really beautiful, and it's one of the tallest perennials as well, which I find really useful. It also doesn't take very long to grow. So whilst I wouldn't completely advise against getting this type of Verbena if you do want it for your baskets and other varieties and such, that could be a good idea, but if you're expecting something hardier that'll last in your garden for years and really provide you with structure and such and be good value for your money, then I don't think this Verbena is worth it. So those are some of the plants and perennials that I would not recommend for your garden. I do have other videos on ones that I would recommend, and those lists are a lot longer. I don't think there are many plants out there that aren't worth trying, and honestly, even these ones on this list, go ahead and try them. If you don't agree with my advice, that's completely fine. Everyone gardens differently. I've just personally bought all of these before, especially when I started off gardening and had not very good experiences with them. So I just wanted to share my thoughts, and I'd love to hear yours too. So make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe for more gardening content.